Hello everyone, how is it going? This is Movie Collector 64 slash the Video Gamer 64 on YouTube, Metajolt, and Vidly. How is it going? Today I am going to be showing my entire DVD collection part 2. In part 2, these are going to be some wrestling DVDs and more. So yeah, let's get started, shall we? So let's get started. I forgot to show some of these other movies that I got on DVD, and I got one TV show on DVD that I forgot to show in the previous video. But anyway, I'll be showing them last. First is going to be the wrestling DVDs that I have, like I promised to upload. So let's get started. AWA, America Wrestling Association. It says the spectacular legacy of AWA. Yeah, this was classic wrestling from the 70s and 80s. You got Ric Flair, Sergeant Slaughter, Jerry the King Lawler, Hulk Hogan, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, and more. Next we got a legend, one of the best wrestlers of all time in my opinion. Sadly he passed away, rest in peace man. And that's the Ultimate Warrior, the Ultimate Collection. It shows over 25 matches, and this is a 3-disc set. And I just love the cover of it in the back. It looks so cool. Next we got one of the wrestling that I enjoyed when I was a kid. I used to watch this back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and that's ECW. It says Volume 2, and it says unreleased. So I don't know if this was like some of the matches that wasn't unreleased or not, because I don't remember, I didn't remember some of the matches from the late 90s and stuff. Yeah, late 90s, I couldn't remember. But anyway, I guess they were unreleased, I don't know. But anyway, let me get back to where I was. However, I do remember this pay-per-view back in 2005. Extreme Championship Wrestling, ECW One Night Stand. It took place in June 12, 2005. You gotta admit, some of the greatest wrestlers have died, such as Roddy Piper, Axel Rotten from ECW. Roddy Piper was in WWF and WCW and stuff like that, but out of the ones in ECW that died was Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney. Yeah, they had a wrestler called Balls Mahoney. But yes, I love that. I love those two wrestlers. It's sad they died. I loved so many of them as a kid. Next we got the 50 greatest finishing moves in WWE history, 3-disc set. Okay, next we have the All Mankind, the life and career of Mick Foley. I remember Mankind and all of them when I was a kid watching Undertaker versus Mankind in the Hell in a Cell match. Oh my God, I thought, as a 3 or 4-year-old, oh my God, I thought that was scary. I remember Undertaker throwing Mankind off the Hell in a Cell, and oh my God, when Mankind fell off that Hell in a Cell, I thought he literally got killed. I was like, no! Oh, I miss those days of the Attitude Era. That's what I grew up on, the Attitude Era, WWF wrestling, and WCW wrestling, WCW Nitro and Thunder. Next we have my all-time favorite wrestler of all time. It says, Born the Controversy, Roddy Piper. And it says the Roddy Piper story. This is a 3-disc set as well. This has documentaries, matches, and Piper's Pit. This is my all-time favorite wrestler. I think I wore my Hot Rod t-shirt in in some of my videos. So if any of you have seen Hot Rod T-shirts, let me know, because I got one and I've wore them before. Next, here's my favorite era of wrestling: WWF Attitude Era. You got Stone Cold, you got The Rock, you got Dude Love, you got Goldust, you got The Rock, you got The Undertaker, Kane, and all of them. Oh my God, I remember so much about the Attitude Era. Like Stone Cold coming out with that beer truck. Oh my God, that was so awesome. Coming out with a beer truck and spraying Vince McMahon and all that. Oh man, I miss those days. Nowadays it's turned to shit, rated PG shit. That's when it was real wrestling still. It was TV-14, you know. Next we have the Ultimate Collection of Goldberg 3-disc set. One of my favorite WCW wrestlers of all time. He had the greatest wrestling matches, like winning matches in wrestling history. I think it was 300 something in 0 before he lost, or 200 something in 0 before he lost. I just thought he was unstoppable back then. Next we have, this is factory sealed. I figure since he died, this will go up in value one day. This is the Randy Savage story of Macho Man. Like I said, this is factory sealed. I do not know what it all has in here. I bet it's going to have documentaries, matches, and all of that. He was truly one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Speaking of one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, I had the Nature Boy Ric Flair, the Definite Collection. Woo! Yeah, I love Ric Flair. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. I remember him in WCW Nitro when the Four Horsemen came back in WCW Nitro, and at the time I thought they were all new, and hell, the Four Horsemen were around since the 70s. But anyway, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I remember the Four Horsemen. You had Ric Flair, you had Arn Anderson, you had Chris Benoit, and all of them. I'm telling you, the Four Horsemen were awesome. But they wasn't original Horsemen, except Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. But still, just the idea, it was pretty cool to me. Next we have a DVD 3-disc set called My Life of John Cena. My Life John Cena, it says. This is when I thought John Cena was very cool back in his day, in his prime. Nowadays they just got him, like, you could tell it's rated PG nowadays, because it's going downhill. It ain't the same no more. I don't know. It's just something about it. Next we have the greatest superstars of the 1990s. Undertaker, Stone Cold, The Rock, and Bret the Hitman Hart is on the cover. 1-disc DVD. It shows superstars like Shawn Michaels, Yokozuna, The Rock, Kevin Nash, Owen Hart, and more. I love The Undertaker. In my opinion, they should have never ended his streak in the first place. They should have just let him retire with the perfect streak. But that's just my opinion. I love The Undertaker. Next we have WWE Vengeance. It's in bad shape, but I still got it after all these years. Because if you look close, this part has a little, you know what I mean. This part is open of the DVD case. This was Vengeance back in Raw. You can see the old Raw logo. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. And it showed matches like Rob Van Dam versus Edge, Spirit Squad versus D-Generation X, John Cena versus the Legend Sabu, King versus Imposter Kane, and other matches. Next, we had the greatest superstar of WrestleMania. In my opinion, it's The Undertaker, but they show other ones like The Rock, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. There were many great matches in WrestleMania history, in my opinion. Next, I got this from Hollywood rental store years ago, and that was called Beyond the Mat. It even has the old Hollywood logo. But yeah. And it just showed like wrestlers performing in the ring and stuff. It says there's no script for what happens outside the ring. Oh, I thought it was just showing matches, but hell, I haven't watched this in years, so I don't remember too much about it, but obviously he's talking about behind the scenes. Next we have another Ric Flair DVD called The Ultimate Ric Flair Collection. Woo! Again. Woo! Anyway, Ric Flair right there. I love Ric Flair. He's such a great wrestler. Next we have Stone Cold Steve Austin. One of my all-time favorite Attitude Era wrestlers. He is so awesome. He's one of my favorites of all time. Anyway, next we have The Rise and Fall of WCW. This is one of my favorite wrestling DVDs. And it was so sad how WCW ended, especially with Vince Russo and them. Next we have one of my favorite Attitude Era wrestlers as well, The Road to Jericho, it says. Epic stories and rare matches from Y2J. I'm going to speed this up because one of my channels has a 20-minute time limit on Vidly, so I better hurry up. Next we have Twist of Fate, the Matt and Jeff Hardy story. One of my favorite Attitude Era wrestlers as well. And one of my favorite Attitude Era tag team wrestlers of all time is not the new, but at the time it was, the new and improved DX. And I love DX. My favorite wrestlers out of in DX, of course, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, but something about Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, I love both of them the most. Especially, shit, I forgot his name that quick. Especially Road Dogg. Next we have, speaking of the Four Horsemen earlier, I got Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen DVD, 2-disc edition. It's such a classic. I love that movie, documentary and the matches and stuff. Next we have the Shawn Michaels story. Shawn Michaels story, not Shawn with a whistle. Heartbreak and Triumph. This was an interesting documentary in my opinion. Next we have Hulk Hogan! I always say it like that for fun, but seriously, I got Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Anthology. He's one of the greatest wrestlers ever, too. Next we have Undertaker 15-0. Yeah, this is an old DVD, obviously, but I still got it after all these years, and I loved it. See, to me, they should have made it over 20-0, not 21-1 nowadays. Next we have NWO The Revolution 3-disc set. I love NWO, one of my favorite tag teams in WCW history. NWO with Hulk Hogan, which is called Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash. Them and the Four Horsemen and WCW tag teams, oh my god, they were my favorite. Do anybody remember the 3-count tag team? They were pretty cool, I guess. Now I'm going to be showing all the movies. I got this movie from my mom a long time ago, the complete first season 3-disc set, because this is one of her favorite TV shows of all time, and that's The Golden Girls. Shows Dorothy, Rose, Sophia, and Blanche. And I admit, I love watching that show with her, because all my mama does basically is just laugh at the show. I'll always cherish that memory. And plus, I get a good laugh out of it too. I ain't gonna lie, I love the Golden Girls too. Next we got Killer Clowns from Outer Space. In space, no one can eat ice cream. I love the slogan of it. Literally, it says in space, no one can eat ice cream. But anyway, this is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Classic horror movie, in my opinion. Next, I did a review of this yesterday, which I hope all of you enjoyed that movie review that I done, of Stephen King's Children of the Corn. What a classic movie this is. And these movies I got at the Family Dollar yesterday. And I have not watched any of these yet, so if any of you think these are good, let me know. And that's The Exorcism of Emily Rose, next we have Insidious. I think that's how you pronounce it. It says most terrifying film since The Exorcist. Ooh. The Exorcist didn't even scare me, the movie, so the original Exorcist anyway. And next we have Insidious Chapter 3. I couldn't find Chapter 2. I was like, what the fuck? Because I was going to plan on getting Chapter 2 and then watch number 1, 2, and 3 in order. But I'm like, hell, I can't even find Chapter 2 in this store. I got those 3 movies at the dollar store. I got these 2 at the dollar store yesterday. And then I found this at the dollar store yesterday as well, Insidious Chapter 3. The cover looks so cool, but I don't know if any of them is any good or not. So if any of you enjoy the wrestling DVDs, tell me which one's your favorite out of the ones you own in your collection. If there's any you like, just feel free to tell me in the comments. Or if you enjoyed this video, feel free to tell me what you thought about it in the comments. And let me know if any of those 3 movies that I showed y'all at the ones that I got at the dollar store, feel free to let me know if any of them are good, because I'm mostly curious about that too. I'm mostly curious about that and what y'all think. I hope all of you enjoyed my entire DVD collection part 2. I feel like I'm missing some wrestling DVDs, because I thought I had a lot more, but they might be in my closet and I just haven't checked. But if I find more, I will make a part 3. But anyway, guys, I hope all of you enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, my MetaJolt channel, and my Vidly channel to see more videos on here. And this is the Video Gamer 64 / Movie Collector 64 signing off.